Alright guys, welcome to another stream. Probably not a whole lot of you, because this is not a well-regarded game in the grand scheme of things. But this is Cruis'n for the Nintendo Wii. This was originally Fast and the Furious in the arcade, developed by Raw Thrills, developers whom which came from Midway, who designed and developed the original Cruis'n series, the original Cruis'n trilogy. And so despite Fast and the Furious having, you know, an unrelated name in the arcades and sort of an unrelated theme, it still had a lot of Cruis'n DNA in it. You had a lot of the same moves, like the backflip and the wheelies and stuff like that, and same type of smooth arcade-style gameplay, very much like the Cruis'n games. And yeah. It's actually a really fun game. I had always ignored the original Fast and the Furious arcade game, and Cruis'n Blast recently had come out, which got me on a Cruis'n kick. I went down memory lane, tried every single Cruis'n game, with this one being the final one, and yeah, it's been quite the journey. I've got live streams of all the N64 Cruis'n games now, along with Cruis'n Blast, the new one, and this one actually surprised me. It actually makes me want to try to hit up some local arcades. Granted, more family fun center oriented arcades, but, you know, arcades nonetheless, like Dave & Buster's and whatnot, to check out some of these other Raw Thrills driving games, because this one is actually a lot of fun. Despite what people say, it's just a dumb, fun arcade-style racer. And by arcade-style racer, I mean literally arcade style. It comes straight from the arcade. You know, this seems like a fairly faithful conversion of the original Fast and the Furious from 2004 by Raw Thrills. Looks like it's got just about all the same tracks and stuff like that, and I checked out some videos of the arcade version, and the track layouts seem to be very close as well. So this package is very bare bones, unfortunately. You basically have arcade mode and then the circuit mode. Circuit mode is you just go through all the courses in the game. You have to get at least third place in order to progress. And as you do that, you unlock tracks that are locked when you start a brand new file. So this is actually arcade mode right here, and I've got all the tracks unlocked. What I'm going to do is actually delete my save file so I can show you what it's like when you're going through the game for the first time. But that's it. There's not really much else to do outside of, you know, replay tracks again, earn money, and then upgrade your cars as you play through the game. I don't think you get anything special for maxing out all your cars or anything like that. It is a little extra replay value if you want, but ultimately you go through the circuit mode, you play some arcade tracks, and that's the whole package. There's really nothing else to it. The circuit mode's not even really equivalent to, like, what you've got in, say, Cruis'n Blast or something like that, where you've got, you know, you can get, you know, gold medals at the end if you do well enough, and there's, like, keys you can find in the courses. There's nothing like that in this game. The only, you know, requirement if you're going through circuit mode is to actually get at least third place or higher to progress to the next one and unlock an arcade track in the process. So that's the unfortunate thing about this. There's another unfortunate thing, which a lot of people, I think, really put this game down because of it. You have to use motion controls on this game. That's not entirely true. If you go to your options menu, you do have a D-pad option. So believe it or not, you can switch it off motion sensor and play with the plus control pad, basically the directional pad on the Wii mode. This sucks. Don't do that. It doesn't auto-center, so it's extremely awkward to control with this thing. So we're going to be doing the motion sensitivity controls, and you can also, I should say the motion sensor controls, but you can also control how sensitive it is. I leave it on the default, which is loose. And you know what? I actually don't mind the motion controls. You know, a lot of people like to just dog on motion controls because It's motion controls. It has to be bad, right? Well, it's not always bad. Like, the steering in this game is actually really smooth. As long as you're moving the controller slow and smooth. You know, you don't want to be, like, jerking it, like, in, 90-degree increments. Like, you need to be skillful with it. But as you guys will see as we play this game, my driving is going to be pretty smooth because the controls are smooth, despite them being motion controls. Now, here's what happens if you try to plug up a actual classic controller. It actually will toss you an error message, unfortunately. Just like that. So please remove any extension controllers. I tried the Nunchuck, I tried the Classic Controller Pro. Just for shits and giggles, I tried the SNES Classic Controller. And you are pretty much stuck with the motion controls, unfortunately. But, give it a chance, and I think you'll actually end up finding out that it actually controls pretty well with them. Now, it is a damn shame they don't give you, say, nunchuck options so you can steer with the analog stick, but, yeah, definitely an oversight, on the developer's part. There's no reason they couldn't have included, actual stick controls as opposed to just motion sensor, but we're going to roll with it. Like I said, we're going to go ahead and reset my save data, and the reason for that is I just kind of want to show you what things look like when you start a fresh save file. So let's go ahead and go back. Just for anyone curious, we are actually playing this through my Wii U. So, the Wii U's video output's not quite as good as, an original Wii via component. It does kind of soften things more than you would with a Wii in, say, like, progressive scan mode. But, it does actually display everything. Any game on the Wii that's like 16:9, like Cruis'n, it displays it in a 16:9 window, which is really convenient for capturing and whatnot. So I don't have to go through an upscaler or anything like that. And so that's how we're doing this. So we're actually playing this through my Wii U. So let's go to single player, and I'm going to show you arcade real quick. I'm just going to show you the level select screen. Choose track. And as you can see, we only have 4 courses, just basically 3 easy and 1 medium, and that's it. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 courses that are locked. And in order to play these, we have to play through the single player. I mean, this is mostly single player. There is a 2-player mode, which I haven't tried. But you need to play the circuit mode if you want to unlock the rest of your arcade tracks. So it says, race in the Cruis'n Circuit Challenge. Finish in the top 3 to unlock the next track. Let's go ahead and hit number 2. And I don't do manual transmission. I did just fine with just automatic. Generally in driving games, manual transmission will usually get you higher top speeds. You might even be able to shift gears faster, to get back up to speed quicker if you make a mistake or something, or you want to just do better off the line. So yeah, we have a couple of cars to pick from. We got the Toyota Supra we'll probably roll with to start, the Nissan 350Z, Pontiac Firebird, the Mitsubishi Eclipse, Toyota Celica GTS, and now we've got our unlocks. It doesn't tell you what you're going to unlock, but you'll unlock vehicles as you earn cash in the game. The top vehicle is at $2 million. So if you get first place on any race, you'll get $100,000. So if we get first place in this first course, we'll unlock our next car pretty much immediately. Now the gimmick in this game, aside from unlocking cars, is sort of souping them up, which I guess it fits sort of the Fast and the Furious theme, which again, this was originally Fast and the Furious in the arcade by Raw Thrills. But yeah, we're gonna roll with the Supra because its stats seem to be pretty good. Actually, you know what? The Nissan 350Z seems to be... Well, I like the higher top speed with the Supra. Although I'm almost wondering if it doesn't even matter, because you can see the 350Z's bar is a little bit lower, but the MPH on the left, they're both 148. So I don't know why one bar is higher than the other. Doesn't seem like the stats really make a whole lot of difference. Same with the Pontiac Firebird here. Its acceleration is faster, which is actually nice, but, this game, like, later, well, pretty much any Raw Thrills arcade game, has significant rubber banding, so I really feel like these stats don't really matter a whole lot, so we're gonna roll with the Supra just because that's what I played with the other night. I did actually play this for the very first time just last week before doing this stream. I spent about 3.5 to 4 hours on Twitch playing through this for the first time. By the way, you can also change your car color there. So actually, let's go back. I want to pick something a little bit, let's go with something a little bit brighter. So you press the A button to do that, and it just kind of cycles through. Now, I don't want red, because YouTube hates red. It kind of like kills YouTube's encoder. So yellow, maybe orange. I do want something a little bit brighter, just so it pops out a little bit. So green, I might go with green. Actually, I'm gonna go with that. Sort of magenta, purple, whatever. Alright. Alright, so now here's the other gimmick in the game. You basically have upgrades. So every time you play a track and you successfully finish it, like first through third, you'll get awarded this upgrade permanently. If you get a game over and you have to continue, that one upgrade you picked for that course resets. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with N2O first. If you don't do this, you don't have it. So if you're playing this game for the first time, get the N2O. Yeah, you definitely want the N2O. The A button on the D-pad, or sorry, on the Wiimote, will allow you to use your N2O. They're like the blasts in Cruis'n Blast. I'm gonna mention Cruis'n Blast a lot because I have a feeling people that are gonna be watching this are gonna be people that have reinvigorated interest in the Cruis'n series because of that game. And you know what's funny is this actually has more in common with Cruis'n Blast than it does, I think, the original 3 Cruis'n games. And I think that's one reason why I'm able to appreciate this so much now, because like I see where Cruis'n Blast came from. It came from this, basically. It was an evolution out of this series of arcade games. So alright, you can basically just like, you know, race off the line. And then the idea is just to get to the end, point A to point B, in first through third. So just like in the classic cruising games, you can double tap gas, and if you hit another vehicle, you'll do a wheelie off of it. Boom, just like that. Although you got to be careful about where you actually do it, because you know if you do it in a turn like that, you're gonna slam into the wall when you come out. Now you also notice if you're a stickler for frame rates. This game does chop up quite a lot. Now, it's always playable to me, but it's not a solid 60 FPS. It does drop a lot. So if that sort of stuttering bothers you, just be aware if you decide to go into this one yourself. You can try to wheelie off little jumps like that. And if you sort of double tap the button 2, your gas button, you'll actually do a side wheelie, which again you could do in the old cruising games, or some of them. And then if you let go of gas and then tap it again and hold it, you'll do a drift. So drifting, much like Cruis'n World, is actually really important in this game. What I also recommend is just trying to stay straight as much as you can. Don't run into objects if you can avoid it. And the reason for that is, using my last nitros at the end here. Okay, so we got first place, just barely. Just like Cruis'n Blast, I like to save my nitros for the end. And the reason is the rubber banding AI is, you know, can be pretty brutal in this game. They'll just come right back up on you and sometimes even pass you. Like you could see there that even though like I was, you know, ahead of the guy behind me and boosting, he was still going, you know, faster than me somehow. I don't know how. And what I've also noticed in this game is when you use your boost, the AI has a tendency of boosting at the same time. So that's another reason why you kind of want to save them for the end, because you're probably going to need them. Yeah, so let's go ahead and pop in my initials here. Alright, so now we go to our next one. And again, every 100,000, or man, I'm getting ahead of myself. Every first place win is $100,000. So a few different upgrades here that don't really do anything. Ground effects apparently boost your aerodynamics somehow. It's basically just lighting. Sure. Decals don't really do anything outside of just upgrade your car visually. Spoiler supposedly boosts your max speed. Tires improve your traction apparently, and engine is good for acceleration. We're gonna go with the spoiler to get our top speed up. And again, I don't think you get awarded those items if you fail the course. So if you fail the course and you have to do it over again, you'll have to reselect whichever one you prefer. So one of the other downsides of this game are the load times. The load times are not fantastic. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, but the thing is that the courses in this game are like 2 minutes long. So you spend like 30 plus seconds waiting for the tracks to load, and then you spend 2 minutes in actual gameplay, and then you've got to go to a loading screen again. I've read that that was a common complaint back in the day when this game came out. It doesn't bother me too much, but it is definitely an issue to be aware of if you decide to try this one out for yourself. I love the digitized characters there. It's like good old arcade, you know, Western developed arcade schlock. It's just goofy, and you know, I could see how a lot of people that would play this would like cringe at it, but I don't know, I love it because it's what like some Western arcade developers just did back in the day, Midway and Williams and whatnot. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is just try to stay straight. There are shortcuts in this game, so there are different ways you can go on certain tracks. Some paths are much better than others, much faster than others. Ooh. Now that's actually really nice. In classic Cruis'n, I would have just completely got demolished there. Not demolished, but my car would have, you know, spun around, and I would have been, you know, slowed down considerably. But, you know, this was kind of like when they decided that, you know, getting completely stopped because you run into, you know, oncoming traffic is not that much fun. And so they're a little more lenient in this. Now, if you run into traffic, oops, I went one-handed with my Wiimote. Don't do that. That came off completely wrong, too. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is where they kind of decided that, like, you know, running head-on into traffic is not the greatest thing. But you will still spin out or come to a complete stop if you're going really slow. But if you're super fast, top speed like I am, sometimes when you collide head-on, you'll actually just smash right through them, which is really cool. And, yeah, I mean, as you can see, I'm not, like, bouncing all over the place, like with these, you know, these controls. Oh, that didn't work? Why did that not work? Wow, we're gonna have to do this over. I tried doing a wheelie over the car, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So, yeah, we have to do that over again. Yeah, and what's interesting about this game, and we still got some cash for that too, so that actually boosts our pocket a little bit. One thing that's interesting is that... sorry, trying to collect my thoughts here. Yeah, we have to retry. So, never mind. I lost my thought already. Alright, so yeah, so you can see how my engine upgrade, or spoiler upgrade, I think we did spoiler last time, actually didn't take. Because you have to actually, you know, successfully finish the course in first through third. Yeah, you do have a variety of, you know, like jump types you can do as well. You know, you can do the backflip off a jump. You can also do the, I think they call it the helicopter, where your car does like a 360. I don't know if they've got like the cannonball or barrel roll or whatever they call it. I don't remember what they called it in Cruis'n Blast. But yeah, a couple of those are in this game. So anyone that like comes back to, you know, this from, say, Cruis'n Blast will sort of feel at home in a way, because you've got the nitros, you've got, you know, the classic Cruis'n tricks and whatever. and a very similar, you know, fast-paced gameplay. And these first few courses are, you know, these are easy mode courses. I keep taking my left hand off the controller. You really need both hands to balance the controller properly, otherwise you will start going all over the place. But when I'm talking, even on stream, even when no one's actually able to see me, I still have a tendency of, like, you know, sort of emoting with my hands as I talk. Even when, like, you know, there's no camera on me. So, oh, see, I wasn't fast enough there, and so I did stop. You can do your wheelie here to try to get back up to speed a little bit faster. I'll take this top jump this time, instead of taking the bottom way. I feel like the bottom way is better. Also, this is one of those games where you don't want to run into stuff if you can avoid it, because it does slow you down. Every time you run into something, like you destroy trees on the outside of the track, you'll notice that, you know, your top speed decreases just for a split second. And that plays into, you know, how fast you go overall. But yeah, like I mentioned, this game also has a lot of drifting as well. Now these, again, these early courses are on the easier side of things, and so you're not going to see me drift much. I'm using my nitrous at the end, because I know the finish line is coming up here. And that's fine. We're going to get third place. That's okay. I wanted to get first, but third place is fine. Yeah, oh, what I was going to mention earlier is that, you know, if you're trying to get, you know, the best times, you're trying to beat previous times, doing tricks in the air and things like that is actually important, because the more air time you get, that's actually calculated as time off your end time. So while the game is really basic content-wise, if you're the kind of person that just loves to try to, you know, get the best track times, like tricks and stuff like that are going to eventually, you know, play a role in that. I wonder if my YouTube chat is broken today, because we have apparently 25 viewers right now, and there has been no chat. I am wondering if YouTube's chat is busted. This is interesting. If anyone out there is trying to type in chat and it's not working, poke me on Twitter or something like that. I'll fire up Twitter right now just to see if anybody responds. Alright, there we go. Go! I actually have two chat boxes up. One on my dashboard, and then another I leave up on the other monitor. And when I type something in chat, it's both working. Or it's popping up in both chat boxes. So there is some communication going on, but it's weird. Normally, when we have this many viewers, it's there's constant chat, but got a lot of people lurking tonight, which is kind of funny. So it wasn't really a surprise stream. I did announce this a few days ago. I did a community post about it. I'm basically upping my stream count this week. It's the last week of September 2021 as of doing this video. And the reason for that is I've just been playing a lot of games recently, and I've gotten really comfortable with them. And when that happens, I like to stream them. For those of you guys that don't know, I don't really schedule out my streams unless it's maybe October and I've got specific games I want to play. I like to cover games that I'm comfortable with, that I've played and I can talk about. I try not to do random streams, or I should say like random games. Like I'm not like, what am I going to stream on YouTube tonight? Let me just pull out this game. I don't really do that. I like to be comfortable with the games. I always try to do a practice run on Twitch beforehand, or okay, that was bad. I'm gonna go ahead and use my nitro. Yeah, you can see, like, right when I use my boost, everybody else used their boosts too. I'm gonna go ahead and just keep using it again, because I know we're probably near the finish line. Yep, there's the finish line. And that's fine, third place again. Jonathan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so I'd rather get first place so I can unlock more cars, but, you know, my goal here isn't really to unlock everything. But if I can, might be fun just to show off, like, the cars you can get. Yeah, like I said, generally I think it's best to save your nitrous for the end. And what you can do is when you're boosting, you can do a wheelie and pop a wheelie off, you know, the guys that are in front of you. And when you do that, you'll accelerate past them, just like in Cruis'n Blast. Hey, Aaron, welcome back. It's going all right, man. How are you doing tonight? All right, so let's roll with spoiler again. Get our speed up.
Malibu.
Yeah, so the whole game isn't just nighttime courses. There are some daytime tracks. I really, really like the daytime tracks in this game. Hey, Office. Office says we would like to play, like W-I-I. Aaron says he's doing good, just working, looking for something to watch. Well, I'm your ticket, man. I'm your Wednesday night boredom ticket. I'm your antidote for boredom. Hopefully, maybe for the next hour and a half or so. We're probably not going to be streaming this one very long. I was going into this fully expecting this to be like a 2-hour long stream because it's not a long game, and I have played through this once in the last week already, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. Some of the later courses get pretty tough though. Yeah, so if you hit the B button, you can actually change the soundtrack as well. I actually don't like it being mapped to the B button. I wish it was like, maybe like something on the D-pad. Because, you know, with how I hold the Wiimote, my fingers sometimes have a tendency of tapping the B button by accident. I'm sure that's an issue for a lot of people, actually, that play on the Wiimote. Oof. There was a shortcut to the right. Probably should have taken it. Some shortcuts I actually don't take because they are more risky. I guess that's the point of a shortcut, though, is, you know... Look at the cars flying down from the sky. I love it, because they took the shortcut and I didn't. Woo! Yeah, this is an arcade racer, guys. Through and through. This is from Raw Thrills. These are ex-Midway guys. Midway, they were the kings of Western 90s arcade racers. Very distinct flavor compared to, like, the Japanese arcade racers of the day. And I feel like people that don't like this game have, like... Maybe it's just, like, the motion controls, maybe it's some other things, I don't know. But if you like 90s arcade-style racers, like... This is still a really fun game. And I'm doing really bad here, actually. And I gotta actually center my controller, too. That's actually another issue. For some reason, now that I'm talking and playing... There's our finish. Very nice. First place. Let's save your nitrous for the end. Now that I'm talking and playing, like, I'm not being cognizant of, like where, like, my hand positioning and stuff like that. Generally, I think for the best sort of steering, you need the Wiimote kind of, like, right in front of you, centered with you. You know, so it's not like one arm's pulling on the other. And that just helps you be more accurate, and I wasn't doing that. I was, like, my both hands were, like, veered off to the right, so it was really awkward to turn. Aaron, I am using the Wiimote. That is the only controller you can use on this, unfortunately. You can select D-pad controls, but they're really bad. So you're pretty much stuck with motion control steering. So you basically hold the Wiimote horizontally with the buttons face up, and then you just tilt left and then right to steer. Of course, I could theoretically upgrade my tires, and that might actually help with, like, sliding all over the track. But yeah, good old load times. But yeah, I mean, it's a really fun game. What I'd imagine is, I don't know how people have gotten, like, motion control stuff working in like the Dolphin emulator, which is a Wii and GameCube emulator. But I would imagine like that would be the ideal way to play this game. It upscale the graphics, it might smooth out the frame rate, and you might even be able to map like the motion to like an analog stick or something. So I need to actually fire up Dolphin sometime and try that, because there are some games like this that could definitely benefit from, enhanced controls, higher resolution graphics and stuff like that, higher resolution rendering. Apparently these old Raw Thrills arcade games, they're just using PC hardware from the time. And supposedly they're really easy to run on modern computers. And so that's also something I want to try as well. And I'd really love to just try the arcade versions of, the Fast and the Furious games. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, there's a lot of Cruis'n DNA in these games. Again, they're developed by a lot of the same guys that made the original Cruis'n games. And, yeah, and you can totally feel it. And as you guys will see on some of these tracks, there are a lot of callbacks to the Cruis'n games as well. Like, just big, like, windy tunnels that you go through, just like Cruis'n USA, stuff like that. Speaking of which, we might have one coming up here. Oh, yeah, this is the subway station. Yep, here we go. This feels very much like Cruis'n USA right here, except we're on, train tracks now. Alright, saving my nitro for now. There we go, first place. Turbo F-Zero Lad. Why? I don't know why everyone's kind of coming in with that attitude. I had one guy post right before we started the stream. He's like, "Good lord, the worst one." I'm like, okay, alright. Like, who cares? It's a fun game. Hey, Patchy, come on up. Come on up, Patchy. Come on, man. Oh, man. So she actually wasn't here when I was starting the stream. I'm trying to get into the habit of... Whoops. Let's actually bring that back up. Trying to get it back into the habit of, like, having the cat on the stream. But she was refusing to come up here when I was in my starting soon part. I mean, that I will agree with, Turbo, because Cruis'n Velocity is not even really a cruising game. One of my friends here, Leo, and I were speculating that it probably wasn't even developed with the Cruis'n franchise in mind. Yeah, it really feels nothing like a cruising game. Where are you going? She just came in and ran to me, and she wants down already. Ethan says, how would I rank this with the rest of the series? I mean, man, that's a hard one. I think a lot of people have, like, super rose-tinted glasses for the original Cruis'n games, at least on the 64. And honestly, they're not really, like, amazing games. And so when I see this one get bashed... Oh, there she goes. When I see this one get bashed, I feel it's more just because, like, it was originally in the Fast and the Furious game. But gameplay-wise, it's super fun. Like, it has more in common with Cruis'n Blast, I'd say, than it does the original Cruis'n games. And so you kind of just take that as you will. Yeah, cool videos. I totally agree. I understand why it reviewed poorly, but it doesn't mean, like, it's, not fun to play, right? And, those Midway arcade racers and, Raw Thrills' lineup in particular, not particularly deep, ever, Hell, Cruis'n Blast only has 6 courses in the arcade. That's it. That's the entire game in the arcade. And the same goes for their older Fast and Furious games. It's the same formula. They're meant to be played in the arcade. You know, you pop a couple quarters in, or $1, or whatever it plays or costs. You go through a race, and then they ask you for more money. That's how they're set up. You know, they're not meant to be binged for hours and hours and hours on end. They're meant for like quick fun. And so this is shallow, quick fun like the arcade games are. And but it's good fun. It's fast. It can be smooth. The controls, you know, despite being motion controls, you know, they do work well. And you know, ultimately it's just a really fun game. So I will say that after going through all 3 N64 cruising games again, you know, a couple weeks ago, not really a fan of Exotica. I'd much rather play this than Cruis'n Exotica. Also, I mean, Cruis'n World was a lot of fun, and I still love Cruis'n USA for its simplicity. I look at Cruis'n USA more like I look at something like Outrun, where it's like really just bare bones, just driving, no gimmicks really. But having also come off Cruis'n Blast, I really enjoy this because it's got the fast gameplay of Cruis'n Blast. And, you know, unlike Exotica, they also brought back drifting from Cruis'n World, which is nice. And one thing about this game, too, is it's got a lot of shortcuts that I have not discovered. And I would like to spend time trying to figure out the shortcuts on all the courses. Whoa, I do not mean to use my nitrous. That was my fault. You can actually go into first-person view, but I found that it's a little disorienting. I personally prefer the third-person in this. Now, there is a more zoomed-out third-person mode. I'm trying to find my freaking select button. Yeah, there we go. So you do have, like, a more zoomed-out mode here. Now, I will say that I kind of wish that they did conversions of this to, like, other systems. Like, I know that wouldn't have been possible if they used the Cruis'n name, because Nintendo owns the Cruis'n name. It actually says in the manual, you know, licensed by Nintendo. But I do feel like other systems at the time would have been able to do this more justice, or better justice, like the PS3 or 360. And then with those, you know, featuring actual analog sticks. Well, I mean, the Wii technically has analog sticks as well. It can use them. They just chose not to. This definitely would have turned out a lot better, you know. I did read on the cutting room floor that apparently, like, they didn't have the Fast and the Furious license for the home version due to licensing issues. They weren't able to get the license or negotiate properly. And I guess backup was the Cruis'n name. Since again, it does have a lot of Cruis'n DNA in it already. Hey, DJ. DJ says I'm probably a Cruis'n World guy for the nostalgia. It's all good, man. I'm not saying like they're not fun to play. But I do think a lot of people's outlooks on them do have more to do with nostalgia than them actually being like phenomenal games. I mean, I implore anybody out there to go back and really sink time into those classic cruising games for 64 and kind of see what I mean. And if you still love them, that's fine. I still really enjoy them. I had actually a really good time going back to them. I'm so glad Cruis'n Blast came out, because without that reinvigorating my interest in the series, like I would not have checked them out anytime soon. And I had a really good time going back to them. But they've got their issues, and they've got definitely some issues that make them kind of hard to appreciate as much as we did back in the day. Some of the gameplay mechanics in like this game and Cruis'n Blast are much more streamlined and much more user-friendly, I guess I could say. So Cool Video says he's played through USA for the first time about a month ago, and that nails it. Quick, dumb fun. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're more mindless than the Japanese equivalents, but there is a place for that. Yeah, totally. I agree. I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, Western-developed arcade racers, with all their shortcuts and stuff like that. And some of them, like the Rush games, are challenging games. They got really weird, like, driving physics. Like, you can spin out really easily in those games. So even though they're arcade-style racers that are over the top, they still require skill to get through. And the cruising games also require skill to get through. You know, like, if you're playing their single-player modes, for instance, the N64 games default to easy, and they're still hard games to get through consistently. This one's more like Cruis'n Blast, where like it seems like it's hard at first, and then you realize, oh, I just have to drive kind of well, save my boosts for the end, and then I'm kind of good to go, right? Although I will say first place finishes aren't super common for me on this. Oh, there's a shortcut there. I didn't even know that. Like, a lot of shortcuts I notice are completely unmarked. So that's really interesting. I kind of like how they're unmarked. You really have to do exploration. That's pretty cool. I enjoy that. Yeah, and a lot of the other ones, it's like, you know, the checkpoints, not checkpoints, but the shortcuts are, really obvious. Alright, I'm in 4th right now. Still not really having to drift much, but I think doing your side wheelie after you drift, I think it does make you faster, like Cruis'n World does. One thing I love about playing this game, too, after playing tons of Cruis'n Blast, is hearing a lot of the same sound effects used. There we go. Oh, and it didn't work, man. They were still ahead of me. Things might get a little bit easier as I upgrade my vehicle. Hey, Encrypted Printer. Encrypted Printer says, speaking of lost licenses, he recently found out Journey to Silius was originally going to be a Terminator game. Yep. Yeah, cool videos. Rush 2049 is Spin Out City. Absolutely. we tried playing the original San Francisco Rush on stream a few weeks back. Yeah, that was Spin Out City too. I really want to give those games more time, but man, they're not like just jump right in and win kinds of games, despite like the simplistic nature of, you know, Western developed arcade racing games. Michael asks, how about California Speed? I've only played the 64 version. Wasn't too impressed with it. We actually fired that up last week as well. And, or a couple weeks ago. I was doing like a bunch of N64 streams on Twitch. And, yeah, we went on like a racing game binge after playing all the Cruis'ns. So yeah, we did try the Rush games. We tried California Speed. And California Speed was just kind of like the driving felt fine, but the course designs were very generic. I mean, they could be over the top at times, but like the actual layouts weren't all that interesting. And it just kind of came off as not like bad, but it was just boring, you know? It didn't have the excitement of other Midway arcade racers. Cafe Man says, did I ever do a video on Dreamcast Speed Devils? I did not. That's one I'd like to go back to and put more time into. For those of you guys that don't know, Speed Devils is a Dreamcast arcade-style racer. That was actually done by Ubisoft, or at least it was published by them. I don't know if they actually developed it. And then there was also Speed Devils Online. Speed Devils has a sort of an interesting release history where it has a censored version, or at least the front cover is censored. I don't think the actual in-game assets are, but basically the devil on the front cover is like Oh no, the manual has like a sticker that goes on top of it. That I think it's a sticker they put on top of it. That basically blocks out like the devil, and it was sold in Christian stores. It's pretty rare. I used to have a copy when I was doing Dreamcast collecting. I can't remember now. Actually, it's been so long. That's been like 7 years since I sold my collection. But I can't remember now if it actually was just like a sticker covering the manual, or if it was an actual original manual. Like an original manual print. Do that wheelie. I'd say my favorite courses in this game are the daytime tracks. They have, I don't know, they really feel like cruising tracks. Like classic Cruis'n USA in particular. Alright, I think our exit's right here. Exit, like I'm playing a first-person shooter or something. Yep, time to exit this map of doom. Hey, Mark. Yeah, long time no see, man. I think I need to stream 3 times a week more often. I don't, actually. This week has been incredibly stressful because I've been trying to cram in more streams. Hey, Rico says, I didn't know Cruis'n was on the Wii. Awesome. Still prefer Cruis'n USA on N64. Well, there you go. Yeah, this was, again, for those of you guys just joining us, this is a conversion of the Fast and the Furious arcade game. But that was developed by a lot of ex-Midway people, and so it still feels a lot like Cruis'n. All right. Let's go ahead and do tires again.
Hollywood.
Yeah, so just to like kind of follow up on what I was talking about earlier about trying to cram out more streams this week is, you know, when I play games and I get comfortable with them, I like to try to stream them on YouTube as soon as I can, because I am knowledgeable about them. You know, I've just come off of playing them quite a bit, and then I can actually talk about them as I play and be like, this is how I deal with these parts of this game, and yada yada yada. And when October comes up, though, I like to focus on like horror themed stuff, and a lot of the games I've been playing lately have not been horror themed at all, and I knew that if I didn't stream them before October hit, I'd have to go back and re-practice them again for after October, and I didn't want to do that. So, you know, we cranked out F-Zero Maximum Velocity, GP Legend, and now Cruis'n on the Wii. And we did the Cruis'n USA series, or the Cruis'n series on the Nintendo 64. Technically USA was just the first game, World was the second, Exotica was the third. So yeah, that's why I've been upping my stream count recently. I've just been happening to play these games on Twitch, and I've gotten comfortable with them, and so I just wanted to knock them out on my YouTube channel, you know, before October hits. Once October is over, I will probably be back to not streaming as often, like maybe once every other week or something like that. But we'll see. I don't know. I do have some work-life changes coming up here in a couple of months as well that I have to prepare for. So while I've been able to focus a lot on YouTube these last couple months, I'm probably gonna have to pull back a little bit just to get my life in order. Don't worry though, even if that happens, I still have video content prepared already for the rest of the year, which I wasn't planning on doing, but it just kind of happened. So weird controller videos, as well as actual dedicated Let's Plays. My Let's Play walkthroughs. Speaking of which, my Joe and Mac Let's Play I posted over the weekend, so if you haven't seen it yet, oh, that was bad. You should check it out. I think it's only like it's under 20 minutes long. It's a really short one. Airtime. I love these uphill parts. It's such a unique dynamic. I suppose it constantly just going downhill. Oh, that was horrible. Alright, we're gonna have to do this over. I think this is one of those courses where like you make a big jump at the end and then you go into the finish line. Yep, 4th place. We have to do it over. That's fine. It's not a big deal. I probably would have been at least 3rd place if I didn't run into all that stuff. Yeah, just something to keep in mind, guys, about this game. People ignored it for so long that you used to be able to pick it up for like $5 or whatever dollars. I think I bought mine for like $8 a few months back. I've actually had this game multiple times over the years with the intent on playing it, but everyone was like, it's terrible, and so I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And it took Cruis'n Blast coming out for me to finally fire it up. And I don't know if it's because Cruis'n Blast came out, but the game is no longer $7 or $5. It's like, we were looking on eBay last week and they're all like $25 minimum, so kind of a tough pill to swallow. I mean, if I had to pay $25 for it, and knowing what the game is, I'd probably still get it, but it's gonna be there's gonna be a point where I think the game's gonna be too expensive. It's not gonna be worth the money. And I've been noticing some lesser successful Wii games have been just like shooting up in price big time. Just the collector's market is got some choice words for it right now, but yeah. So anyone that finds interest in this game, they're probably gonna look at the price and be like, I'll pass. But for those of you guys that have you know, that do like Wii emulation or something like that, I would recommend at least trying it that way. And especially there, again, like I said, you can, you know, get the game looking a lot nicer there. You can probably eradicate most of the load times, I'm guessing, through the emulation. I don't know. I've never actually used Dolphin. If anybody has more experience with that, let me know. I would assume you can speed the load times up significantly, especially since you're just loading from an ISO. But yeah, that would be a great option if you're not like a collector and you just want to play the game, but you're not really keen on paying like modern collector prices. I mean, 25 is not bad in the grand scheme of things for a game that you're going to play, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of like creeping up there. It always worries me when I see a game that was once like $5 or even like $10 jump up to something like 25. That tells me that it's just probably going to keep going up, and I don't like that. I want retro collecting and playing to be accessible on real hardware, and as prices keep going up, it makes it cost prohibitive for a lot of people that might want to give something like this a try. But yeah, I would definitely recommend trying it at least in an emulator. Again, you can also get the original arcade game to run really easily on modern PCs, so that's another alternative I might consider looking into. And then you can actually map the controls 100% to like an analog stick. Or even probably hook up like a steering wheel if you have like a PC steering wheel. You might be able to actually do that. I need to actually look into that because I have a PC steering wheel. Again, not trying to get too fancy here because I'm in first place right now. It's fine. Just want to stay straight. Oh no, I hate it when that happens. Yeah, I don't know why, but sometimes like my car does like a crazy turn in midair. Yep, see, I used my nitrous and so did the AI. Okay, that's fine. Third place. But that's the rubber banding AI for you. And I don't even know if I'd call that rubber banding. It's almost like they're just reading your inputs. It's like the second you do your nitrous, they do at the exact same time. It's like in Mortal Kombat when like you try to do like an uppercut and then the AI will duck it and then uppercut you immediately afterwards 100%. It's just it's just how the AI is written, I guess. Cool Video says he was surprised by the NES version of Joe and Mac watching the Let's Play. The flat-ass first stage gives a terrible first impression. It is a pretty flat first level, but I do think it's visually appealing because it's got a lot of like parallax scrolling, which is not something you saw a lot of in NES games. A lot of NES games were kind of flat. I mean, that was contested later on with stuff like Castlevania 3 and, you know, games like that. Vice Project Doom. But, there are some neat, graphical details in Joe and Mac. But yeah, the first level is basically just, you know, left to right. I mean, most of the game, honestly, is kind of basic, when you get down to it. It's not a very... The level design is not complex at all in Joe and Mac, on NES. Cruis'n rubber banding. Boston Burp says rubber banding. That's good, man. That's good. I like that. How are you doing, Boston Burp? Welcome back. Oh, man. All right. Michael says he always likes watching the streams. He says I should do Joe and Mac 1 and 2 for SNES as a stream. I've barely played Joe and Mac 2. That's definitely on my bucket list, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to that. You might see a updated Joe and Mac SNES Let's Play eventually. Maybe. I don't know. SNES Joe and Mac is kind of a weird one. It runs at like kind of a low frame rate compared to other games from the time, and the way collision works in the game is also weird. It's like you'll hit an enemy and they've got like a period of time where they can't get hit. They have a lot of iframes basically. So it's not like you can attack super fast and just like take out enemies like really fast. It's really weird. Hey Savitor, welcome back. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, this one looks like a lot like an original Cruis'n USA course. Oh, there's a shortcut to the left there. I forgot about that. Alright, we can actually go through here. Another shortcut. Oh, I hit the wall. I always hit the corner of that wall. Yeah, I really love these daytime courses. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like they feel a little more unique, whereas the nighttime aesthetic, just everything kind of like blends into one another. Look at all that pop-in. Poor Wii. There's actually a shortcut here too. You come up these stairs, boom, just like that. Oh, and again, oh, damn it, man. We're gonna have to do this over again. All right, let's nitrous. We're towards the end of this track. Holy crap, you actually, if you can use multiple nitruses back to back, you actually do end up going really fast. Oh, we still got third place. Nice. Means we don't have to do it again. Yeah, again, saving your nitruses for the end is, it's a good strategy. Gotcham. This game is, originally 2004 in the arcade, and then 2007 on the Wii. Riku asks, have you ever done a live stream of Bloody Roar? I have not. I actually don't have access to any of the Bloody Roar games right now. And I actually haven't really played them much. I had part 3 on PS2 back in the day. And I remember dabbling with, I think it was Bloody Roar 2 on PS1. Just a little bit, but it wasn't a series I really got into. Okay, we'll do acceleration this time.
Chinatown X.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Mark. I like the nightscapes a lot too, but there's just something about the daytime tracks in this game. They contrast so much to the nighttime courses. I do feel like the daytime courses feel a little more like classic Cruis'n, where it's like you're going through just like I don't know. They feel more like classic cruising. Maybe it's because in classic cruising you're usually racing during the day. Like Cruis'n USA and Cruis'n World, it's mostly like daytime courses. Cruis'n Exotica, they started introducing more nighttime tracks. Now there's also this thing that says total damage on the bottom right. Apparently, as you run into stuff, that builds up, and that gets deducted from your winnings. I don't even know if that actually works. Like, I think it even calculates at the end of the track, but I don't know if it actually deducts appropriately. I did a test on one track, and, like, I think I ended up... I don't think I got first place, but I ended up getting, like... I tried to run into everything I could. I racked up, like, $1 million bill. And I still got winnings at the end. It made no sense. So, like, I almost feel like that part of the game is broken. Oops. Yeah, see, one of the things about cruising rubber banding, though, is that I feel like you also rubber band with the AI. It's like I was way behind, but here I am back in third place already. Oh, no. Oh, great. That's not good. I try not to use nitrous to catch back up because of that rubber banding, but I don't know how close I am to the exit. Whee! Love the airtime in this game. Yeah, these upward parts are so cool to me. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that over again. I completely messed up running into that building. But had I saved my nitrous for the end, I might have been able to bring it back. But since this is basically my second session with this game, I don't have all these tracks memorized. But even if I saved my nitrous, there are a lot of like windy turns at the end, so I might have just ended up crashing anyway. Trying to use my nitrous through those turns. Alright, we'll do engine.
Chinatown X.
Michael, I have not played the Lone Ranger, but I have seen it before. Yeah, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen people stream it. And it looks like an interesting game. I think those first-person segments could be a little irritating. I don't know if I'd really want to put time into it because of those, but you know, other parts look interesting. I'll have to look more into it because, you know, I'm a big NES guy. You guys know I'll probably eventually get to games like that with how many NES games I've played and how many I've played on my channel. Right, Riku? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The game definitely has some issues. Like, again, load times aren't the best. Also, it's forced motion controls. You pretty much have to use motion controls if you want to have any decent steering control over the game. There's no analog controller support. You know, so no nunchuck, no classic controller. So if that was a huge reason right there, a lot of motion-controlled games, like driving games in particular, they would at least give you the option to use an analog stick. They don't let you in this game. So that was a big mark against it back in the day. But also, it's extremely light on content. Like what you see here, this is pretty much the entire game. The single-player mode, I wouldn't even really call it like a traditional single-player mode. You don't really get anything special for doing it outside of unlocking tracks that are already there. But that said, I do feel like people were a little harsh on it. I actually, after I played through Cruis'n Blast and I started to get back into the series, I went looking up videos of this game. and seeing what like the general consensus was on YouTube, and man, comment sections are not nice to this game at all. Just go look up some videos, and there are people that are just like bashing it left and right. But there are a handful of people that were like, hey, this game's actually a lot of fun if you get used to the controls and whatnot. And me personally, it did not take me long to get used to the controls. It really did not. My second race, I was like, oh, this is actually fine. You know, like, I didn't have an issue. So, I think a lot of people also didn't really want to give it a chance. Alright, we're gonna do what I said I theorized about last time. Using my nitrous here. This slowdown is actually kind of helping me. Oh, first place. I also think people thought, like, this stuff, like, the live-action stuff was cheesy. But, I mean, it's the arcade game, man. Like, I think having a little bit of, perspective on the issue, or the matter, will affect things as well. Like, I knew this was an arcade conversion going in, and that's why I was actually psyched about it. Because I was like, man, I looked at videos of Fast and the Furious Arcade, and I was like, dude, that's Cruis'n Blast! It's totally cruising. I had to play it. I fired it up a couple nights later, man. It's fun. Had I actually played the Fast and the Furious games back in the day, instead of avoiding them like I did, I would have played this game like day one. Well, not true. I didn't get a Wii until three years after this game came out. But when I finally bought a used copy, I would have played it right away. I wouldn't have waited on it like I did.
Mulholland.
Yeah, so I'm not like, I enjoyed the first Fast and the Furious movie back in the day. I wasn't really into the series past that. So when I saw the Fast and the Furious license on the arcade game, when I saw it back in the day when it was new, I was just like, whatever. Really had no desire to play it, but in hindsight now, I wish I did play it because it's a lot of fun. You know, Raw Thrills basically picked up where Midway left off, and they kept they kept the torch going, right? The Western developed arcade racing game torch. And yeah, they're really fun games. You know, the stuff that they make is really fun. Alright, so this course is actually really tough. I think this is the last course in the game, Mulholland Drive. And this one actually kind of requires you to brake here and there. There's some really sharp turns. Like that right there. Alright, we're in 7th place. Remember, we have to get at least 3rd place if we're gonna actually win. Ah, man, that sucks. That was my fault for being on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, I mean, despite me lagging behind, it's like I can just catch up really fast. Ooh, I actually do not want to use my nitrous right there. That's okay. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't know where all the shortcuts are. I bet you there's some good shortcuts on this track. Alright, next checkpoint. That's probably our last checkpoint. Man. Yeah, I think that might be the exit right there. Oh, jeez. Yeah, it's just over that mountain. Oh, 5th place. We have to do it again. It is the hardest track in the game. And Doom Waves! What's going on, man? Long time no see. Hey, Guns! Guns says, I absolutely love how over-the-top the Midway design games always were. Yeah. Eugene Jarvis is a legend. Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, Gustavo, welcome to the stream. Rika says, I played Sonic and the Secret Rings. I'd probably have no problem with it. Yeah. I have not heard good things about that game, but I will refrain judgment because I haven't actually played it. Hey, Deadly Gaming, what's going on? Welcome back, welcome back. Michael says he liked the Fast and the Furious with the bikes. Is that like a movie, or are you talking the arcade game? Because there is a Fast and the Furious Super Bikes game, which apparently came shortly after this one. Runs on the same engine and everything, apparently. And then they released a sequel a couple years later, called, or much later, I think, called Super Bikes 2, without the Fast and the Furious license. Cool Video says, oh man, Jet Moto is brutal, but those tracks are fun as hell. Yeah, I never got into Jet Moto because it is brutal, but I'd like to really try to dive into it one day because the tracks do seem pretty cool in it. Cool Videos, no, the frame rate is unstable. I'm running the stream at 60 FPS, so yeah, no, it's not my end. I'm not dropping any frames or anything. I've got really solid internet. Hey, Fluttershy, welcome back. And Michael, you're talking about the arcade game Super Bikes. Okay, cool. I think there's actually a shortcut up there to the left. I saw a gate. So if I lose again, I'm going to have to try that. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the arcade version of this game, like, there are no frame rate drops. Yeah, one thing Raw Thrills does do well is getting, like, good performance out of their games, which is nice. I mean, you kind of expect that from arcade games, really. It always irks me when I play an arcade game that does actually, like, slow down and stuff like that. And this is, like I said, it's not an easy track. I could try to do the wheelie, but there's so many twists and turns in this track that I'm just going to end up slamming into a wall. So, like, it's not really worth me doing the wheelie. The backflip off cars, basically. If you wheelie into a car, you'll do a backflip over them. Alright, getting close to the end. Oh, dude, what happened there? That was jank. Got killed by jank, guys. Oh, and I ran into a cop car. Well, I deserve that. Oh, we lost again. Now, you can actually hit start and go to restart race, but if you don't do that and you actually finish, you will get some money. So I recommend actually finishing, going to the game over screen, continuing from there. That way you get credited your cash. You've got at least a little bit of cash. Oh, I see what the damage bonus is now. So the manual, I believe, says the damage bonus will take off earnings. But what it does, it actually takes off time, I believe. But I don't know if it actually, like, added time or if it deducted the time. See, now I'm confused. The manual is giving me mixed signals. Fluttershy, what Fast and the Furious game are you talking about? Because the Fast and the Furious arcade game is really cool. I mean, that's what we're playing right now, basically. But I'm not sure which... there's probably like another more modern Fast and the Furious game. I don't really keep up with that series. If it exists in modern form. Let's see.
Mulholland
Fast and the Furious games. Oh yeah, there are a bunch of games. Okay. It's Fast and the Furious Crossroads. There's a Fast and the Furious PS2 game. I'm going to assume that's unrelated to the arcade game. Dude, there's a lot of Fast and the Furious games that aren't the arcade games. Oh, I meant to Oh, is this not, It's not gonna let me turn around either. No, it is. Okay, it is a shortcut. I'm gonna roll with it, because, again, the rubber banding AI can, play nice with you, too. Oh, there's an invisible wall. Wow. You have to take that turn perfectly. I wonder where the other shortcuts are. This has got to be one. Yep. Oh, I saw it. Okay. See, what's kind of good about failing is you can try to explore the tracks and find the shortcuts. Oh, that was probably a shortcut, too. That would make this track a lot easier, actually, if you can avoid a lot of these twists and turns. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, one thing they added in the last update for Fast and the Furious Arcade, which was called Supercars, is like a drift meter. And that drift meter was actually carried over into Cruis'n Blast. Then back in 4th place. And you could screw off a lot. But you still have to actually make the checkpoint before running out of time. So there is that. Now, one of the unfortunate parts about this game, there aren't really any difficulty settings or anything. So once you've gone through the game, you know, you can't put it on, like, expert, extreme mode or anything like that. Alright, 3rd place. Alright, so we just effectively beat the game. But, well, you know, we've only been playing for about an hour 20. I'll go for like another half an hour at least. We'll play a bunch of arcade tracks, try to earn some more money, upgrade my car, and then, we will, we might even get, like, the last car. We'll try to get a bunch of first place wins and see if we can unlock the final car. Boston Burf says he's been having a lot of fun with the Castlevania Advance Collection. Hell yeah, he bought it yesterday. Very nice. Yeah, I'll buy that eventually. I have access to all the games already, so I don't really need it, but I'll definitely support it later on when I have a little more money in my pocket. Thanks for the GGs, guys. Oh, Fluttershy was talking about a PS4 Fast and the Furious game. I had a feeling. So I'm like, what are you talking about? We're playing Fast and the Furious. It's awesome. Well, we're playing the Cruis'n rebranded version. And the arcade version is definitely a lot smoother. I would really like to play the arcade one. Okay, I'll let the credits roll out. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. F-Zero Lad says, I remember seeing an arcade machine with a 2020 copyright called Fast and the Furious Supercars. Was it a re-release of an old game or a new entry? Alright, so I believe there was Tokyo Drift in the arcade. No, it's Fast and the Furious Drift. And that came out in 2007. Supercars was a an upgrade kit for that game, I believe. So let me actually look that up real quick. So we're gonna look it up. You can actually go to Raw Thrills' website as well, and yeah, I don't know where you're seeing a 2020 copyright date, because Supercars was the last one, apparently. That was 2011. And that was an add-on for Drift. Or you could just buy a cabinet outright. Oh, maybe it is, no? Yeah, you might have saw a different game. It shouldn't have been Fast and the Furious anything in 2020. Hey, Patchy. Hey, yo. Hi. Look at who joined us. She might not stay. Yeah, Cruis'n Blast was 2017, so I mean, that was 6 years after Supercars. And, I mean, there was a standalone Supercars as well that doesn't have the Fast and the Furious license, but I'm not sure when that came out. It looks like it's not in production, so I would guess that's not 2020. They do have Super Bikes 3, which is currently still in production, but that's not cars, obviously. It actually looks like Raw Thrills doesn't have any like car-based games right now outside of Cruis'n Blast. Cruis'n Blast is apparently, I think, like their most popular game, which is really cool to see. They have a Nitro Trucks, which I have not seen before. Never actually played that. Actually, it looks like that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm just looking on their website right now. Yeah, very cool. What you doing, Patchouli? Hey, Patchouli! No, it's all good, F-Zero. Trust me, I misremember all the time. Nitro Bike, the game by the Excitebike 64 devs. Haven't played it. When did Nitro Bike come out? How old is that? It's the first time of me hearing of that. Alright, looks like it's just loading up a demo, so I'll skip through that once it pops up, and then we'll switch back to the game, and we'll try to play some arcade tracks, get some more money, upgrade our cars. You can see how souped up we can get. Nitro Trucks is like a Wii slash PS2 game. Okay. I've played Excite Truck. Not Nitro Trucks, though. Excite Truck would be a fun one to stream one day, too. I think I still have Excite Bots as well. So we are on the Wii U. If you let it sit for a while, it actually will dim the screen for you. But yeah, if you let the demo mode roll out, it actually tells you kind of how to play the game. But yeah, so there's not really any reason for me to play Circuit anymore. I mean, I can if I want to try to go through the whole game again and see the credits. There might be a little more to the credits after you beat the game, as opposed to just choosing to watch credits on the main screen, on the main menu. Yeah, there you go, Patchouli. I'm glad I took the camera off you. She just jumped down and left again. But yeah, the car that you are upgrading in circuit mode, it carries over into arcade. We'll go ahead and just try to upgrade everything.
Chinatown.
Speaking of F-Zero, I'm going to try to play some F-Zero Climax, probably in October. And maybe in November we'll do a stream of that. Since we've got pretty much most of the other F-Zero games streamed. My GP Legend archive went up yesterday, too, for anybody that missed it. Anyone that wants to check it out? That was a pretty short stream. It was about 2 hours. Fun game, fun game. No, I haven't figured out if there's a way to, like, boost off the line. It's one thing I haven't figured out in this game. Oh, that was horrible. I landed like right behind a car. Just ran right into it. Yeah, and if you look closely, you can see like Raw Thrills signage and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I love that type of stuff. Like when you were playing Midway arcade racers back in the day, you'd see Midway signs all over the place. Yeah, you play a Sega arcade racer, you usually see Sega signs all over the place.
Winner.
First place, 100K. Michael asks, have you ever played Buck Bumble? I have not. Fluttershy looks like that last F-Zero game I played looked frustrating as hell. It wasn't, really.
Race wars.
I mean, I kind of got screwed on the Platinum Cup, but I don't really like the requirements for Platinum Cup. I don't like how they take away all your machines. It's kind of annoying, actually, because I'd say those tracks are the least fun to play. I'd rather play the tracks built specifically for GP Legend. But, yeah, no, it didn't really look, it wasn't frustrating. Maximum velocity is more frustrating if you're playing on the highest difficulty, I would say. There's a lot more BS that can happen. Now, granted, the zero test courses were really challenging, but I mean, you don't have to play them. I'm always more of like a Grand Prix guy when it comes to my F-Zero games. Probably one reason Maximum Velocity I think actually clicked with me better than GP Legend did, because you know, its main focus is the Grand Prix mode, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, F-Zero Lad, for sure. GP Legend has a relatively chill Grand Prix mode, yeah, for sure. And something else got to keep in mind, Fluttershy, is I was playing on the highest difficulty setting for Grand Prix, so if you saw Grand Prix and you thought it looked frustrating, there's easy and normal as well. You don't have to play on expert. It's just what I do when I play F-Zero. Yeah, I've been playing F-Zero since the Super Nintendo game. You know, the first two games in particular are some of my most played driving / racing games of all time. F-Zero X is probably my most played racing game of all time. Like, I go back to that game so much. It's one of my all-time favorites. Shortcut! Oh, okay. Uh-oh, not good. Oh, shit! I screwed that up. I screwed that up so bad. Oh, well, there goes 100K. That sucks. Yeah, Turbo. You know, Zero Test almost felt like, to me, like it was too challenging. Granted, I'm not an expert at the Zero Test mode. I couldn't even figure out how to, like, boost off the line for most of the vehicles I was playing. So, you know, there's a lot I have to learn in that mode. But man, like, when I got to, like, the second series, I was getting, it was like bronze, 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 bronze. And a lot of them, like, I didn't even get the bronze immediately. I had to try it again and again and again. I was like, Jesus, man, these things are freaking, like, rough.
Times Square.
Like, what's the line between, like, challenging and just, like, completely unfair and not fun? And I almost feel like Zero Test, like, is straddling that line. F-Zero GX kind of does the same thing with some of its modes, where it's like, I mean, is this even like a fun kind of challenge, you know? But like I said, and like I said on the stream the other night, it's not like I've played Zero Test a lot. Like, I could probably, you know, put some real time into it and get a lot better at it. Yeah, Fluttershy, if you ever decide to try that game, I mean, you play Grand Prix, again, you don't have to put it on Expert, and you'll have a good time with it. In even Expert mode on the Grand Prix in GP Legend, it's really not that bad, honestly. Like, and what's great about F-Zero GP Legend is you don't have to come in first, second, or third. You can, you know, you can come in 15th, as long as you do decently enough throughout, you know, all 5 tracks. 5 or 6 tracks, whatever it is, then you'll be fine. I think I can actually go through that building. Yeah, other cars smashed right through it. Like I said, some shortcuts, they're not marked. You have to kind of follow the AI or kind of get lucky or experiment a little bit. Just like Cruis'n Blast, you can come on, you can take the top route here. There's a lot of stuff in this game that was clearly carried over into Cruis'n Blast. And again, top route. Oh, there was a shortcut to the left. Hell yeah. That's what I wanted to try on earlier tracks, was do the boost into backflip. Yeah, see, story mode, I only played with Rick Wheeler's story mode, and we got through that just fine. That wasn't really a challenge. But yeah, Zero Test that was like ridiculously tough for me. So, and Turbo says, well, I do think Climax has its own challenges akin to Zero Test. It might have adjusted the difficulty in Climax. Yeah, we'll see when I get to that game. It'll be a little while before I fire it up, but it's definitely on my to-do list since, you know, I've played you know, I played the first 2 Game Boy Advance games now. I gotta play the 3rd one. Just realized I'm still blue. You can also change the color of your lights. You can also, okay, so you can change your car color if you're selected on decals. I see. Okay. Alright, we will go with spoiler. You'll notice that some of these are maxed out. It means we can't upgrade those anymore. Spoiler is now maxed out.
LA Ghetto.
All right. So what time is it? We've been streaming for an hour 40, just about. I'll give this a little while longer. We'll probably go to about the 2-hour mark. Like I said, this is a really short game when it comes to just going through all the content. And so from this point on, it's basically about just playing the same courses again and just trying to get better at them. You know, find the shortcuts, get to the end faster. And I'm still trying to figure out if, like, destroying stuff deducts from my track time or if it adds to it. I need to look at that more closely after this race. What I do know is that when you run into stuff, it does slow you down a little bit. So generally, I feel like it's best to avoid stuff, but... Oh, okay. I was going to take the right-hand turn, but I was following the AI. Let the AI lead you. But maybe it's good to smash as much stuff as possible if it deducts time? Uh-oh. Oh, you can actually go in the buildings. Nice. And there's still a lot of aspects of these courses I don't know about. Oh, and it looks like I probably could have raced on the top route as well. Oh no, that's bad. I still got first place for that. I was so sloppy at the end. Hey, Crestline, welcome back. Turbo says Cruis'n Blast is still a bestseller for GameStop. Hell yeah, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. Yeah, Cruis'n isn't a bestseller from Amazon because it's like I think we checked a couple weeks ago and it's like the only way you can buy it is getting the European version on Amazon. Like, you can't even get the North American version. But we did check, and GameStop has them, Best Buy has them, so you can still buy them. But I just noticed that it's been resetting my my card color every course, which is weird.
Central Park.
I'm glad to see people are interested in Cruis'n Blast because it's a really fun game. It's a breath of fresh air in the genre, to be honest with you. They don't make many, like, arcade, like 90s arcade style driving games, Western style ones in particular anymore. There's some that have come out that are more like Hot Shot Racing. We talked about on my F-Zero stream. Really great game, but it's more like taken after, like, you know, Virtua Racing in particular, you know, more Japanese style. Excellent game, I highly recommend. You know, I was gloating about it the other night, but if you guys don't have that game and you like, you know, Sega arcade racers in particular, you definitely need to try out Hot Shot Racing. It's really good. But there's not much that's like this anymore on home consoles. Raw Thrills typically does not bring out their games to home systems. Because it detracts from the actual arcade releases. You know, they find that when their games do come home, profitability on the actual arcade machines drops significantly. And when you're in a business where you make your living off creating these games for arcades, that's a problem. So yeah, we just haven't had a lot of these in the home market. That's another reason why I really enjoy this, because there's not really much like it. And, you know, up until Cruis'n Blast, basically. You know, an arcade racing game made by ex-Midway employees. It's got that classic Midway arcade racer vibe. So it's really nice to see Cruis'n Blast doing well, you know, given that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that sucked. I'm gonna start blasting. I think our exit is here shortly. Sucker! There we go. It does make the arcade experience more unique, Deadly, for sure. I do think, I do feel like what Cruis'n Blast did is probably a good thing, though, like... Because, I mean, that game's 4 years old now in the arcades, and apparently it's still a top earner for a lot of arcade operators, but eventually Raw Thrills is going to create another driving game. So maybe, like, you know, wait 4 or 5 years, then port it. Doesn't damage, you know, arcade operators as much, but still recoups, you know, brings in revenue for the original developers.
Malibu.
And I wouldn't mind that. You know, leave it exclusive to arcades for a while, and then bring it home as, like, you know, new products come out in the arcades that are going to be, like, the new best earners and best sellers. So, we will max out tires eventually. It's maxed out on our meter, but I think it's just like a visual upgrade now. And yeah, Turbo, I agree. I wish Game Mill didn't screw up on the release, man. Dude, I had to drive all over the place to get my copy on day one. I got lucky, and the Walmart I went to only had 2 copies. Of all the stores I went to, there were 2 copies. That's it. So, I would have been very, very frustrated if I wasn't able to get one on day one locally. It's like, you're going to put out a physical release. Why isn't it, like, available everywhere, you know? It was on a Nintendo Direct. You know, people were hyped up for it. And weeks after its launch, it's still hard to get, depending on where you go. Now, thankfully, one of my local GameStops also have one, or a couple of copies. We went up there last weekend, saw that they had Cruis'n Blast, which was nice. Anyone that's in the Fairfax, Virginia area, check your GameStops. If you want to try out Cruis'n Blast for Switch. I'd say anybody that's anywhere with the game, anybody that's anywhere near a GameStop should probably check it if they want Cruis'n Blast. Seems like a pretty reliable way to get it. Oh, I screwed that up by using my nitrous. What a waste. I should have saved it. Yep. Ugh. We completely botched that, man. That was horrible. It was one of our worst races yet. I mean, Turbo, yeah. I mean, it's entirely possible. Maybe they didn't think people were that hyped for it. But I mean, honestly, in my eyes, if you're gonna do a physical and you're gonna make it available at like even like big box retailers, like you gotta make copies available because, you know, you just gotta. I'm gonna try Malibu again just because like we did so poorly there. Just gotta make it happen. Part of the point of making physical is, you know, making it so people can actually buy it physically, easily. You shouldn't have to struggle to get a physical game if it's going to be released physically, like at actual retail stores. Like you should be able to just walk up and buy it. I mean, it's always been that way with physical. So, I mean, I'm not talking like limited run games and strictly limited and stuff like that, but I mean, like if you're gonna release at big box retailers and major game stores, like you should make enough to where you can supply all of them, you know? Yeah, no, absolutely, Turbo. And like, you know, the arcade game has Nintendo's name all over it. It's like the cruising games back in the 90s where Nintendo was like fully behind it, you know? Like we support this. They didn't have any I don't think they had any input on development, but you know, Nintendo's name is all over it. It's not like this game where like in the very back of the manual, it's like under like the copyright section or whatever, it's like the cruising name is like licensed by Nintendo or something, and that's it. There's no like traditional big fat Nintendo logo. It's kind of in the background. But Nintendo didn't have their name on the original arcade game because it was a Fast and the Furious game, right? It was by Raw Thrills directly. I wanted to see if I can take a right here. And I can. I'm gonna guess shortcuts don't really help you all that much when it comes to defeating the AI. But they probably help when it comes to getting better times. Getting faster track times. Holy crap, man. Yeah, these up and down hills can be tough to deal with. You can't see what's at the bottom of a hill until you start driving down it. Wow, I ran into a car right at the very end. Man, there's some dickish traffic patterns here. Yeah, that sucked. I'm starting, like, I need to go back and look at the footage to see what's going on with the damage. Indeed, this is just straight up Fast and the Furious on the arcade. Absolutely. A game that was developed by old Midway staff that worked on all 3 original Cruis'n games. So, there's a lot of Cruis'n DNA in the Fast and the Furious arcade game. Drifting, all of your, you know, your wheelies and stuff like that. All from the Cruis'n series. Yeah, that is true, Turbo. I mean, December is a little ways off now.
Golden Gate.
You know, we still have a few months, or a couple of months. I guess we're technically, like, right on the cusp of October, so... Right on the cusp of October. Looking forward to doing a lot of Castlevania stuff during October. Although I think tomorrow and the next day I'm going to have to spend some time actually, like, figuring out when and what I'm going to be streaming during October. I already know it's just going to be a lot of Castlevania. And then my brother's going to come over and do Resident Evil 2 Remake for Xbox One. So that'll probably be a Saturday stream. But now I gotta figure out when I'm gonna do the other games, because there's a bunch of, like, long-ish games, like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and there's only so many Saturdays in October. But I also would like to upload Let's Plays, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think there was a shortcut to the right there. You smash through the wall. I saw a little glimpse of it. And I think I actually saw someone go through that wall earlier on the stream. Oh, nice. Got it. I think there's another shortcut to the left. I'm coming up on these shortcuts so fast that I'm not willing to take the risk. Nice, first place. You're kind of surprised they didn't showcase more Advanced Wars in this Direct, the seemingly last standalone Direct for a while, too. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, for all we know, they could also delay it. Stuff that's slated to be released in December for Nintendo sometimes gets delayed. We'll see. But, I mean, it's Nintendo Switch, and it's a first-party game. Like, Switch is ridiculously popular, so... I don't know. Might not even need all that much promotion, to be honest with you. But we'll see. Or I should say it might not need that much, like, hyping. I wouldn't be too worried about it, honestly. I mean, Advance Wars does have some clout. You know, it's got a lot of old school fans that do still remember it. It's funny how Advance Wars is old school now. It's almost 20 years old. Actually, it might even be 20 years old. When year did that game come out? I'm gonna look it up. Where's GBA? It is 20 years old. September 10th, 2001. Wow. Man. God, we're all getting old, guys. Bossenberg, he's already old. I'm catching up to him, though. Well, I meant the Game Boy Advance game, Turbo, but I know what you mean, yeah. Uh-oh. Not what I was trying to do. I was trying to do a side wheelie. It's probably one of my favorite courses in the game. Oh, there's a shortcut to the left, too. I just love how it looks. I love, like, the fall theme. Especially as we're coming into fall in the real world. And like I said, it also has the most, like, classic cruising vibe, in my opinion. Oh, come on, man. I was trying to do a wheelie over that car and it didn't work. Oh, yeah, Boston Burp. Yeah, I think I know exactly what track you're talking about in Need for Speed 3. Yep. It's like one of the first tracks in the game, too, I think. Oh, man. Alright, guys. Well, we've hit the 2-hour mark. I think I'm going to go ahead and just end the stream here. It's not really necessary to unlock all the vehicles. It's not anything special. It's not like you unlock a unicorn or a tank. This game is kind of like reserved in that regard. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think there are like any crazy cheats or anything for wild vehicles like that. Let me actually pull up game FAQs real quick just to see. This is something I actually normally do before I play games like these. So there's not even an FAQ in this game. Yeah, there's no FAQ. There aren't any cheats listed on game FAQs. And there's literally just one question. What's the difference between Chinatown and Chinatown X? Yeah, you can tell a whole lot of people have played this one. Wow. Let's see if I can find some Cruis'n Wii cheats on the internet. Yeah, and, I mean, there are a couple of cheats, apparently, to unlock, like, all tracks and all cars. That's it. There's nothing crazy, nothing special. That's disappointing. It does make me wonder if there's anything else buried within the game that people don't know about, because clearly not a lot of people really messed around with this title. I'm gonna guess there's nothing, because even the cutting room floor has a listing for this game. And, it just lists some, like, debug info that's still, like, buried within the code. Yeah, there's debugging text. And then there's leftover text from the arcade game. That's really all people have found so far by, like, digging into the data. So yeah, this is a super bare bones game. There's not a lot, you know, past this. So again, just to clarify again,
Hollywood.
when you go and you pick your car,
Choose car.
you know, every car you pick has its own set of stats. Let's actually go back. And we will pick the Spider 738.
Spider 738.
So when we pick this car now, you'll notice that all of our stats are back at 0. So every car tracks its own stats individually. I assume you don't get anything for unlocking everything and upgrading everything, but I don't even know if anyone's ever actually done that. But, you know, that is, you know, for the completionist, like Office out there, you know, that would add to the replay value. So, yeah, again, if you play this for the first time, make sure you pick Nitro as your first upgrade. Otherwise, you'll have no nitrous. The nitrous can be pretty important if you want to try to like blaze your way to first place at the very end. So, but yeah, that's Cruis'n, guys. I think it's a really fun game. I'm glad to have been able to show it off on my channel because I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that have really demonstrated this one in a positive light. It's like, yeah, it's not the most amazing thing ever, but you know, if you're a fan of Midway arcade racers, I think it's a lot of fun. So, even with the motion controls, as you probably saw, I wasn't really like having too much trouble with it. It took me a few races to warm back up because I didn't do a practice session before starting this stream, but yeah, I didn't do too bad. So, but yeah, fun game, and it's definitely one I'll be revisiting on and off over the years. It's just a fun game. So, not deep, but it's a good time. So, oh man, so that is gonna do it for me, guys. If you guys have any last minute questions or comments or anything, let me know. And I'm gonna get out of here. I am probably gonna go over to Twitch in a few minutes and try to play some PC Quake. I've been attempting shotgun only runs on Nightmare, which is extremely difficult, I found out. Well, some maps are extremely difficult. That's what I'm going to go do for the rest of the night. I will be back Friday night, most likely, to stream Demon's Crest on Super Nintendo. It'll be October 1st. It'll be our first spooky game for October. So be sure to come hang out Friday night. Say hello. Drop in. Might have some other people popping in that don't normally pop in. We'll see. But hope to see you guys there. Should be a good time. Yeah, thanks to everyone that's been backing the channel as well. Usually, in the past, I would do shout-outs at the beginning of the stream, but I've been trying to get into gameplay faster. But thanks to everyone that is continuing to support. I do appreciate that. I do want to give a shout-out to the lone individual that actually bought some merch back in August. I checked my dashboard the other day and saw that someone had actually bought, like, I don't know what it was exactly, but they picked up, like, probably, like, 2 t-shirts, I'm guessing. So, whoever you are, thank you very much for that. Merch is available underneath every video title, so there's a merch shelf. So if you guys want to rock a gameplay and talk shirt, either with some gameplay footage or my pixelated Patchy, feel free to check those out. I also have a Patchy mug and some gameplay collage stickers. So yeah, so check those out if you're interested. But yeah, thanks again for the anonymous purchaser of those goods. Do appreciate it. So, but hey, no problem, Mark. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Same Fluttershy. Take care, Office. Later, Deadly. Take care, Cafe Man. Boston Burf. Turbo F-Zero Lad. And I think that's everybody that's been hanging out for a little bit. Yeah, that's everybody that's been hanging out for a little bit. So, alrighty, folks. I'll catch you later. I guess until the next one, take it easy.